back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. He's just going to solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Laura, is he going to be able to find these shots true?
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Adelaide immediately comes back and finds skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Good afternoon, one and all. We've got one more mid-season finals to bring you your way. Coming straight from the future into the past, we have got the EU Masters tier coming live a little bit later, but you know, hey, better late than never. I am Sovdan. I'm here with Rain, and Rain, we've got 2 incredible teams Brigged up, coming in on a flawless streak against T4T, and I honestly haven't been paying too much attention to the Masters tier, so maybe you can help us out what's going on with these teams.
I wish that I had more information for you here, but we're just jumping right into it. I am at least familiar with T4T. I did see them play in Chase the Stars, which was the EU Marginalized Gender Tournament put on by Dreamlight. So some familiar names on some of these rosters for me, but yeah, this is a match that has definitely been highly awaited. This did happen on Sunday, so like you mentioned, we're dipping back into the past a little bit here, but I know that the community has been asking for this one, so that tells me that this must have been a really good match.
As I said, this must have been a banger, and we're going to start it off on one of everybody's favorite opening maps, as you trend to in these kinds of situations. We're going to be over to Busan, and I mean, again, one of those maps that everybody loves to see, everybody scrims. It's just a solid map.
It is, exactly. Busan, lots of options, you know, straying away from Lijiang Tower ever so briefly to head over to Korea, and yeah, we'll get to see what these 2 teams run. Now, of course, we're going to have all the hero bans and everything like that, but hey, I haven't done any peeking, so I am coming into this completely blind. I have no idea what the score is, and I have no idea what maps are picked, what bans, so it's just like it's live.
Yeah, as I say, so chat, you know what you got to do. You got to keep it quiet. Don't ruin anything for us. But speaking of those bans, we'll have those coming up in just a moment. But you gave us, you said, as you said, you saw T4T play into that marginalized tournament where they did fairly well. So we're going to have a look. What do you think their strategy is going to be going into this? Because they are one of the teams that, again, you know, people are kind of watch up. We'll have Brigged up with their first ban as the higher seed. But so what do you expect maybe to see banned out here just from what you know?
Yeah, going into Busan, right, this is like the first map, so maybe these teams just kind of testing the waters a little bit. You don't have to go for one of those really heavy-hitting bans, but more and more, I feel like I've been seeing the Lucio get banned out on these control maps, and then kind of forcing that Wuyong Kiriko backline instead. The Lucio typically has, you know, had almost a 100% play rate on these maps, but ooh, okay, seeing the Kiriko banned out, see, that actually opens up a whole kind of world of possibilities for this backline, because typically you're seeing that Lucio paired with either the Wuyong or the Lucio. So not having that in the mix is going to really shake things up.
Yeah, that really does force a lot of these players to kind of reconsider what they're doing. And, you know, maybe you had called it out. Maybe they're trying to protect the Lucio there by taking away one of the other key pieces. So it does leave T4T in a bit of an interesting position here with them being safe. I mean, what do you think they're likely to try to get rid of, or what do you think they might keep even?
You have to wonder, T4T has to think right now, okay, what are we anticipating that Brigged Up is going to want to run here? If you're banning out the Kiriko, there's a couple of options. You're either trying to force kind of a more of a brawl type with this Lucio Bap composition, or you might even be able to try and force like the Ana, right? Banning out that Kiriko means that you're not going to have that Suzu. Banning out the Genji here, so
Genji.
maybe taking a Nano Blade off the table, perhaps, as we go into Busan.
Okay, I'm with it. It does leave a lot of the tanks free to play, but two very interesting bans, two very effective bans at that. But with those out of the way, let's jump into the rosters and see who these teams have brought in. First, let's jump over to Brigged Up, where we've got Shadowy and Synesis coming into the DPS line. We've got Hambulis on the tank, Horseboy, and Vincio across on the support line.
Yeah, and you can see, okay, looking, not necessarily the heroes that they're going to pick here, but I do spy a Lucio Baptiste backline, and if you pair that with the Reaper and the Ramattra not getting as much playtime now. I think that the meta has kind of opened up a little bit here in Season 18, but definitely still a lot of survivability in this team comp, and you can put out a heck of a lot of damage with that Reaper Genji frontline as well. So if they get a chance to play these compositions, I think that it could work out well for Brigged Up.
It's very possible for them, but let's jump over now to T4T, where we've got maybe some figuring faces, familiar ones there. Panarchism and Nen over in the DPS line, Rose on the tank, Tommy and Bluey rounding out that support line. And this is a wild set of 5 we have here. My goodness.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little less anticipating that this is a comp that is going to happen, but hey, you never know. It's definitely possible. And yeah, like I mentioned, this is a team that maybe not this entire 5 roster, but there are a decent amount of these players that were already playing together in the Chase the Stars tournament. So this is a team that at least has some synergy together coming into things. And of course, we're in the mid-season, so these teams have been playing together for a little while at this point. But yeah, I'm super excited to get into it here. We've been introduced to the rosters, and I mean, we're already ready to go because we don't have to wait for any players to be ready. That is the beauty of casting these after the fact.
It's my favorite part of this whole event is we don't have much longer of a wait to go. We'll get right on into it and see what these teams are playing. And like you said, it is the mid-season, so we are playing for those bonus points. You know, to make it even to the finals of the mid-season, you are getting something, but it would be much, you'd be much happier and much safer about the later end stages if you kind of get this, right? Like I don't know the exact numbers of points, but it is bonus points, it's bonus map wins and game wins. So these really do matter even at this top point.
Yeah, and not just that, bragging rights. Everybody wants bragging rights that they get to win this mid-season tournament. Now, we are going to be starting out on Mecha Base here, so some interesting comps showing their faces here, and I mentioned it, but yeah, Season 18, we've really gotten to see kind of a shakeup of the meta. Having that Ramattra block bug now fixed means that a whole world of possibilities have opened up for the tank line, and it is going to be this Reaper composition coming out for T4T. We've definitely been seeing the Zarya Reaper a whole lot more. Are over on that Baptiste, actually a Lucio Baptiste backline for both of these, the difference being that tank line and then having Stein over on that Venture.
Reaper there, Shadowy just has to try to put a little pressure down onto the Zarya. That's such a familiar comp. It gets Lamp out immediately, but Shadowy does manage to find one in the DPS counterpart. It's going to force Brigged Up back out of the way and give T4T a chance to just go forward. Horseboy does manage to trade back out with that Lamp coming in for both of these Baptistes. Shadowy eventually losing their life to it, and I mean, eventually a good hold from Brigged Up. It was, again, a very aggressive comp out of them with this Orisa.
Yeah, Shadowy getting a little aggressive there. You can see the difference of having the Orisa versus the Zarya to help the Reaper, because you're not going to have the bubble to help Shadowy get really aggressive, so you got to play a lot closer to this Orisa on the front line.
They're going to have to, but they are holding this front choke point, and with the Orisa going down immediately, it means back to spawn they go. 15, though, still fairly early, as, I mean, the flip goes their way.
Yeah, not too bad for Brigged Up, though. I mean, you're building up to this Terror Surge and the window. That's really good, but I mean, look at how much damage Rose has been doing. Already has this grab basically ready to go. Now it's going to be onto this Baptiste from the side of Brigged Up to try and use this lamp to defend against this incoming grab.
Well, that lamp's already out, and the grab is there, but it's not enough as Nen manages to get one. Panarchism goes in for one. The Spear Spin is there, and it's enough. Trying to get a pick. No, not enough. Shadowy is there to clean those up. Again, T4T just damn it, just so much damage. They out-damage here as they'll try to chase away the rest of these. Rose late pick onto it and goes back the way. It was stolen a little bit in the middle, so maybe a little missing the point there.
Yeah, Brigged Up is creeping up percentage a tiny little bit. Did commit that Terror Surge. Stein is going to move over onto the Mei now, so you're looking to really isolate Rose on this Zarya. If you can force out those bubbles and then get the wall, you're going to be able to blow her up pretty easily.
Or hopefully anyways. 37 and climbing now with the Mei over there from Stein, but still blowing into it. Shadowy falls with that, and with the Death Blossom in hand, it's not enough. Window is there to block the rest of the way, and Bluey has to hold her on this corner. She's going to get out of the way for now. It's met by the dueling windows, but it's enough to at least stall for some time. Orisa peeks the corner, gets a little forward. Panarchism just going to go ahead and push them right back. But back on point, there's the Lucio pushing it away. Eventually gets punished for their crimes of trying to steal that back, and the rest of T4T are there to try to just defend this down here. Test comes through, but I mean, that's just kind of throwing bodies at the point there. Shadowy dies looking for that Death Blossom. It's probably for the best anyways, as the rest of T4T clean it up.
Yeah, and held onto the point through all of that engagement, and now the onus is on Brigged Up to try and find a way in, right? We're approaching that 80%. It's going to be getting a little dicey for getting a nice, clean last fight in, and you're coming up to this Deadeye from Nen is going to be able to just buy space, and you have the beat from Tommy to kind of sustain through either the Terror Surge or this Death Blossom that's going to be coming in from Shouty as well.
Looking for that Death Blossom. Gonna get him, and the spin is there. There's the second spin. It's a pair of tops, but it's met by the sound barrier. All five get it. No one dies. And once again, T4T just come out big, 98%, and the Orisa falling on point means that they will take sub map 1.
Yeah, great timing from Tommy there on that beat, and to connect onto all 5 members of T4T. That really shows just the strong positioning that this team has, right? Anticipating that they're going to need this beat to kind of survive through that engagement, making sure that everyone gets it. And yeah, nice stuff for T4T to get started out here. I like what I'm seeing from this Zarya composition, right? We're seeing why she's kind of getting played so much. You can build so much energy on that Zarya and do so much damage.
Yeah, as I say, it's such a huge amount of damage, and you can see it reflected in the score lines there. I mean, 6,000 for Rose. Him only barely cracking 5. I mean, I know that there was a significant number of deaths of difference too, but like, I mean, there's just 2 opposite score lines basically.
Okay, we are going to be heading to downtown to change things up here, and it looks like Brigged Up really changing things up in this composition. Are going to move over onto this kind of 5-person dive. Horseboy's even going to go over onto the Moira to get in on the action. Now they're looking to just really take angles against T4T, try and catch out Bluey on this Baptiste.
Yeah, trying, but can't quite do it. The Moira manages to get away, bubble onto Nen just for safety. The Nen gets the virus, managed to stay alive for now. Stein, unfortunately, is the first victim, gets caught out by the Cassidy, and that's enough for Rose to go in. Ham's trying to find a slam there, eventually just has to get out of the way. Sends in the shields, but nothing more than a distraction. The Sombra, meanwhile, just get in the back, it's a hack in. Anarchism falling dangerously, though, eventually dies to the virus, so pick was made for the side of Brigged Up, but it's not enough necessarily to get control on the side of T4T. Slam there is a bit, but Ham good for a second. Horseboy following it up, and meanwhile Bluey's fighting for their life. Eventually gets rolled right through from the Ham, and that dive was just enough to cause enough chaos and get points.
See, T4T had the start of that fight all locked down, right? Everybody's rotating through the movies theater. It's going to be really, really hard for Brigged Up to find those angles, but as soon as they rotate towards the point, that's where Brigged Up is really going to have the advantage here, because if you want to take the point, you got to sit out in the open, and that's where this Tracer, Sombra, Wrecking Ball comp is just going to absolutely rip you apart.
Slowly but surely anyways. Hog now coming out from Rose, the hook, trying to just get any sort of pick value, and it's Nen once again opening it up against Stein, just defending those flank lines. I mean, that's enough. Ham counters back with 1, but it looks like Brigged Up is safe. I say that. The Lucio gets to live. Hack onto Rose comes through, and they'll commit even EMP into it. Immortality Field is there, but Ham is getting all the resources just to try to keep everything in. Rose just will not be, well, never mind. Saying will not die, but eventually that did come through, and Brigged Up swing back here 44% as we get into the crux of downtown.
I like the Roadhog swap, and then, yeah, okay, you're trying to get these kind of one-shots, right? Everybody on the side of Brigged Up is a fairly low target, save for Ham, but you got to be able to kind of finish off those kills. Unfortunately, Rose not getting that kill onto Vincio, and now Brigged Up in a good position. Yeah, they committed EMP. You got everything else. Oh, there's that hook.
Oh, that hog has been dangerous, especially to Lucio. I mean, it doesn't matter if you can get that pick. It doesn't matter what ult you're holding on to or where you're set up.
Yeah. Now, though, do need to push towards the point if you're T4T. And like I said, Brigged up, gonna be very comfortable fighting in this open space.
The mines onto the Deadeye. Neither really coming up with anything, but it does get the immortality field out. And Panarchism does manage to eventually punish Ham, but that's quite as to be all it looking for. Some exit picks on the side of T4T, but Bluey's the one who falls into the back. So Brigged up, I mean, it looks like they're going to have to give up 4 now, but they're still trying to get anything out of the way. Lucio just fighting for their life there. And anything. More pressure onto the point, though, as Shadowy and Ham do get 1 each. They managed to turn this back. Catch again. Rose good on those hooks for a few more. T4T slowly building up some pressure here, but it'll go right back to Brigged up 70, almost 80 and counting.
I like the ult economy for T4T though, right? You don't commit anything in that. Yeah, the Deadeye used at the start of the fight. Nen's already up to 50% though, so you're gonna have some stuff to work with to get in here, but it's really a matter of how are you gonna find this value, because everybody on the side of Brigged up has so much mobility. You're probably not gonna get a Blossom. Everybody's gonna kite outside of your window, so now you gotta look for an opening.
Oh, a beautiful EMP directly to a solo out of Nen. The ults come out, everything from